Welcome back, everybody, to Aquarian Anarchy. I'm back. Sorry I couldn't be here last week, but we are back at it again because this is the least important election of our lifetime. There's never been a less important election ever, and I just want to remind everybody of that. So get ready, buckle your seatbelts. Aquarian Anarchy is back at it again. Let's go. None other than my birthday buddy, Lysander Spooner, brings us tonight's quote. A man is no less a slave because he is allowed to choose a new master once in a term of years. And that, my friends, it's a good quote. It's useful. Most elections, it would be a very useful quote, but I would argue, and that's kind of why, when we started talking about topics for this week, that's why I thought this was a great time to remind everybody how unimportant this election is. That is the least important election that we have ever witnessed in the history of United States elections. I'm saying that because every time there's been an election, every 4 years, and sometimes even the midterms in between, we are told it's the most important election of our lifetime every single time. Every one of them is the most important. And I'm just like, I don't see it because they've never really been of consequence that I have seen, because as Marcus pointed out in the blurb that he sent out for tonight's episode, there's going to be more war. There's going to be more taxation. There's going to be more debt. There's going to be more money printing, more inflation, all the same things that we always get. We're going to keep getting. You're not going to get any less. Even if it feels like less, it's the python loosening its grip just a little to let you exhale, so that then it can constrict even more, so that your airways are blocked even more than they were before. That's all it is. It is the illusion of relief, and you are just being further choked to death by this behemoth. And so, gentlemen, with that just charming and pleasant intro, how are y'all doing?
Good.
I'm good and dandy. Can't wait for this election.
Yeah, I bet you, it sounds like it. It sounds like you're really excited. Nico, I have to say, your audio is coming through clean and clear, and your camera looks real nice. We were talking about this before the show.
It's crazy. Out of all the years that I've been doing this with y'all, never had it either. It's either been one solid audio, crappy picture, or okay picture and then crappy audio. But now you get both, and it's crazy because I'm not even at home. It's actually sad that I'm using a phone and it's better than all the equipment that I have.
Look like they got you pinned up against the wall, up against the pantry.
Oh no! So I'm at my cousin's house, and he don't got a real setup where I could do this podcast, and so y'all just might see some doorknobs. Pause. You might just see some doorknobs above my head for a few, but I'm just staying out the way. So yeah.
Fair enough. Good stuff. Well, Marcus, by the way, happy anniversary. Congratulations. 15 years. Very, very happy to see that. Congrats.
To be clear, it wasn't our wedding anniversary, but it was 15 years of our wedding anniversary is in June. This is dating, just 15 years of being together. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Good enough. Yeah. Still, we cleared 30 years of nice. Dating, engaged, and married.
Holy shit.
Back in let's see, was that August of 90? I mean,
wait, is that
August of 2022?
Is that a thing I have to pay attention to?
It's something
it helps. It helps. The chicks dig it.
I just thought you did the anniversary, and then
the chicks dig it. I mean, I think I even celebrated Tuesdays for I don't know, a while. I think I got to the first 1,000 Tuesdays, and
wow.
I was not every single Tuesday, but I would remember how many it was, and then I would just when we got to a benchmark, I'd be like, hey, 1,000 Tuesdays.
Tuesday.
Congratulations. And then that was it. That was pretty much like, look, we're done.
Yeah, right. 1,000's enough.
1,000 is enough. It's been 20 years. I'm done. You can we'll just celebrate years now. But anyway, congratulations nonetheless.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's been a good couple weeks. My son came and visited us for a week too, and because he does landscaping and stuff, and he was laid off for a week, and he thought, oh, I'll just go get really blown with my dad for a week, which it is. Yeah. Okay, we smoked a bunch of cannabis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and we also watched 4 seasons of Game of Thrones.
Oh my gosh. Had you ever seen it before?
I have. He has not.
Oh, okay. Well, how did he like it?
Loved it. Watched 4 seasons in a week.
It's kind of like watching US politics.
For sure.
A lot of, except it's like LARPing, like Game of Thrones is a real thing. So
right. Yeah. I have to say, based on you, I have to add something to your introduction.
All right.
It's something I actually have kind of picked. I pay attention to Larkin Rose pretty heavily, and he's right about this. And he recently, it's probably 2-3 weeks ago, had a video where he talked about it. Not only are these elections pointless, they also are intentional. We like to think, oh, it goes back and forth because people get sick of this. No, what they do is they give you the illusion Whoa, Nico just went away.
Nico just gave us the illusion of his existence.
Right. Damn. They give you the illusion. He'll come back. They give you the illusion for 4 to 8 years that you actually had a choice. And the purpose for that is, if the same people were in charge all the time, people would get it. People would be like, oh, the same people are in charge. So of course, but again, though, I do need to caution everyone after saying all of that. Taylor Swift has let us know who we should be out there voting for. So now we ought to be afraid that it's going to make an impact.
But has she though?
No, that's my point.
Yeah. Okay.
That's called sarcasm.
She may have swayed a few.
Well, no, because
you can't.
People are making memes now of her, and it's you saw the whole meme explosion, right?
I did.
A little
just
bit.
So you know, your video's frozen.
You are frozen.
I know. I'm trying to do something on a side screen, and it's like not cooperating. Let me stop trying to multitask. I'll do it on a different computer so that it doesn't do that. Cool. Continue.
So 100% though. I saw all that stuff. Where I'm at is, if the opinion of fucking Taylor Swift matters to a goddamn election, then is it an election that you want? It's beyond.
Well, I mean, it's bad, but last year we were told we weren't black, so I mean,
that's true.
This Taylor Swift point of view, they're trying to go light. They're trying to push it lightly.
So you saw the. Did you see the whole? I mean, y'all have seen the whole ZV Bear, like he's like in trouble. Like they try to dox him and everything for putting out the AI
the
images
stuff.
of Taylor Swift. Yeah. Nudes and more worse than nude, kind of. It was pretty graphic stuff and everything. And the Swifties came after him super heavy, and now the White House is talking about it and all. And anyway.
Of course they are.
Kind of makes me wonder, like, is ZV Bear an op? I didn't even think about that, but like, what? Yeah, could he be an op that he's bringing? Because like the whole Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce, Pfizer and State Farm and all that. Like, it's like. By the way, speaking of which, I gotta hit up HJ to see, like, we're 2 weeks away from Super Bowl Sunday. Is everybody available for February 11th, Sunday, to do the Super Bowl?
I think I
may not be.
Okay.
Wouldn't be able to do Monday too, but would probably be.
No, we would just do Sunday if we did it. Yeah, I just got to check with HJ.
I mean, HJ could be the honorary black guy of the show.
Oh shoot, man! You saw they were trying to have the race bowl. It was black on black crime in the AFC Championship, and then it was although it was more like mixed on black crime because Patrick Mahomes got a white mama, so. But anyway, I'm just thinking about it. Like, Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. This like combination of like, if you look at how Travis Kelce's profile has elevated even before the Taylor Swift thing, and then now he's like got Taylor Swift on his hip at the same time as he's got a Pfizer commercial, an Experian commercial, a State Farm commercial. I think there's another one. It's just the leader of the Paw Patrol can never be an op. Listen, I know that ZV Bear seems like he might not be an op, but I'm just saying, like, either that or an op got to him and like dripped some honey in his ear and said, "Hey, look, what if we made some AI images of Taylor Swift?" I'm just saying there's an op involved somewhere, because all this did was like take the Taylor Swift thing to like a whole nother level. This is like the Kanye Grammys.
You know, there's no such thing as bad publicity. So like,
no, right.
And it being around and like something like this, especially now that her man's is going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they're going to the Super Bowl. That's what I'm saying. So
but I gotta add this.
All right, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I gotta add this.
Shift directions completely. So
right.
Go ahead.
It's everybody put their tinfoil koofies on, because
hang on. Hold up, man. You can't say that shit and not let me do it.
Oh, okay. Right. Well, there you go. So now that Chad is prepared. So I think it was about a year ago, one of the intelligence agencies had a big, and I don't remember which one, but they had a big to-do where they were talking about using influencers to get the CIA to do what they wanted, and or to the CIA getting influencers to do what they wanted. That's what I meant.
Yeah, anyway, I knew what you were trying to say.
Right, but they specifically said Taylor Swift would be the perfect person to do this with.
Yeah.
Specifically, publicly said it, and said that if they were going to have an op, she'd be the one they'd want.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm saying.
if you wanted to get the whole music industry in on like Taylor Swift, Drake, and I don't know, like, who would you have to go to for like the country side of things, or so, you know, like the whole like the Jason Aldean thing or something? But it would have to be
Matthew McConaughey don't make no Christian music.
No, so look, Matthew McConaughey he's not a musician, but he's an actor. But I mean, you've already seen him. He's all over on all these different AI, like he's on like Salesforce ads and some of these other ads and stuff like that. So you're going to see him probably pretty prominently with the oh shoot, I'm gonna have to go now. I have to go pick my kufi off the ground. If I
see what I did,
I tried to put it down and it fell, and now it fell all the way over there. Anyway, all right. So now that we have everybody's attention, kind of we've done our goofing off for this episode. I feel like this is a perfect time to bring something to people that I don't think people have ever been exposed to. You may have been exposed to it, but a lot of people I don't think have. And so I think this is a great opportunity to actually expose people to this. I learned about this about 10 or 12 years ago, somewhere in that neighborhood. And I think this is a perfect time to bring this up, because this is exactly why I think that it's what happened to Nico.
He's apparently black.
I know, like Nico heard all the race war stuff, and he's just like, that's it.
He said, "Black this out."
No, so just why elections themselves are an op in and of themselves. They are a distraction. They are the illusion of giving you the sense that you have some kind of power through this electoral process to keep the boot off of your neck. The reality of the matter is, if they wanted to kill you, you'd already be dead. If they wanted to take all your money, it would already be gone. What they allow you to have is just their way of keeping you comfortably placated, so that you will keep grinding away and doing what you're doing, so they can keep skimming their piece off of the top, because they've had their whole, if you've read The Anatomy of the State by Murray Rothbard, you've gotten a sense of this already, that they figured out a long time ago that burning the village to the ground and killing all the men and raping and, torturing all the women and children was maybe fun for a weekend, but it got really to be a pain in the ass when you had to go do it to a different village every weekend. They figured out, like, hey, what if instead we just settled among the village and just made them our slaves? And we keep everybody alive, but we, maybe knock off a couple of the stronger men so that they know that we mean business. Okay, so we got to get rid of this Nico and bring this other Nico to the stage. What's up,
I
Nico?
don't know what's happening. I
About
legit
to
don't know
text.
what's happening.
So I'm going to read this. This is it's an excerpt from Anarchy, State, and Utopia by Robert Nozick. And this is called The Tale of the Slave. So I'm going to read this little story for you. Consider the following sequence of cases, which we shall call the tale of the slave, and imagine it is about you. There is a slave completely at the mercy of his brutal master's whims. He is often cruelly beaten, called out in the middle of the night, and so on. The second state, the master is kindlier and beats the slave only for stated infractions of his rules, not fulfilling the work quota, and so on. He gives the slave some free time. Phase 3. The master has a group of slaves, and he decides how things are to be allocated among them on nice grounds, taking into account their needs, merit, and so on. Phase 4. The master allows his slaves 4 days on their own and requires them to work only 3 days a week on his land. The rest of the time is their own. Phase 5. The master allows his slaves to go off and work in the city or anywhere they wish for wages. He requires only that they send back to him 3/7 of their wages. He also retains the power to recall them to the plantation if some emergency threatens his land, and to raise or lower the 3/7 amount required to be turned over to him. He further retains the right to restrict the slaves from participating in certain dangerous activities that threaten his financial return, for example, mountain climbing and cigarette smoking. Phase 6. The master allows all of his 10,000 slaves, except you, to vote, and the joint decision is made by all of them. There is open discussion and so forth among them, and they have the power to determine what uses to put whatever percentage of your and their earnings they decide to take, what activities legitimately may be forbidden to you, and so on. Now let us pause in this sequence of cases to take stock. If the master contracts this transfer of power so that he can not withdraw it, you have a change of master. You now have 10,000 masters instead of just one. Rather, you have a benevolent master in case 2. Still, they are your master. However, still more can be done. A kindly single master, as in case 2, might allow his slaves to speak up and try to persuade him to make a certain decision. The 10,000-headed master can do this also. Phase 7. Though still not having the vote, you are at the liberty and are given the right to enter into the discussions of the 10,000 to try to persuade them to adopt various policies to treat you and themselves in a certain way. They then go off to vote and decide upon policies covering the vast range of their powers. In phase 8, in appreciation of your useful contributions to discussion, the 10,000 allow you to vote if they're deadlocked. So only if there's a tie, you get to vote. They commit themselves to this procedure. After the discussion, you mark your vote on a slip of paper and they go off and vote. In the eventuality that they divide evenly on some issue, 5,000 for and 5,000 against, they look at your ballot and count it in. This has never yet happened. They have never yet had occasion to open your ballot. A single master also might commit himself to letting his slave decide any issue concerning him about which he, the master, was absolutely indifferent. And phase 9, they throw your vote in with theirs. If they are exactly tied, your vote carries the issue. Otherwise, it makes no difference to the electoral outcome. The question is, which transition from case 1 to case 9 made it no longer the tale of a slave?
Yeah.
And so when you get a chance to vote, and you examine it that way, through that lens, it becomes a whole different setup, right? Like,
For sure.
We have this notion that, like, oh no, we get to vote. And so, yeah, okay. Have you ever seen any of these votes go down to it's a one vote split?
No.
No,
Nope,
it's never
never.
that way. And even when it's close or anything like that, like we've seen, like it was close in Florida in 2000. What did they do? They got the Supreme Court in, and the Supreme
They
Court was
made the
like,
decision.
Bush won, you know? And then I'm not saying that Gore was like this better choice or anything like that.
For
Like
sure.
it's
None of
like
them.
both, like they were just like picked what flavor of weird
Poison?
communism and
What kind of
war they
poison you
wanted
want, young lad?
Yeah, exactly. So it goes back to the Spooner quote that we had at the beginning. You're like, you get to choose your master. Like, oh, okay, good. Thank you. I'm so happy. But then this last one, 2020, and let me be careful, but there was a lot of interesting things. And there were some charts that people showed of different things that looked sort of interesting.
And to be clear, people, the reason he
we
has
think
to
it was
be careful.
Every election has been fair and free and conducted with the utmost fairness. So we are not saying that there was anything untoward.
Correct.
Just
because
that,
if we
just
did,
that it was interesting
we'd be
to watch.
kicked off of this platform.
Right. It was just entertaining to watch is all. That's what we're saying. We're just talking about the entertainment value.
For sure.
So anyway, so that's
an interesting, and I think it really does bring to light the not only the fact that regardless if you get to vote or not, you're still a goddamn slave.
Mm-hmm.
And you're still under the thumb of an authoritarian oligarch, period.
Right. Well, you go back to when Ron Paul was on stage for the Republican debates, back when he had a chance to be on those. I love this tour we're getting of Nico's new digs here.
It's his apartment, and I'm trying. I mean, I would turn my camera off, but
I know I'm just messing with you. It's funny,
Yeah.
but no. When Ron Paul was on stage, you have all these people that are talking about, and every president in any election, it's typically like, where should the top marginal tax rate be? 33%, 35%, 39%, 42, 41. Ron Paul's like 0.
Right.
That's not even on the table. Like, if you think about it, like that's not even allowed into the conversation.
No.
And the reason why we brought this whole thing up, do we have the clip from Klaus Schwab, or I don't think I put it into
the clip. I don't have.
I'll go get it. But basically, where we are is he is talking about, and we've talked about this before, that where things are headed right now with all of the artificial intelligence stuff, and like we were talking about with the Taylor Swift memes and some of these other things, and that somebody put one out where it's it's a meme of her and it's like, Taylor Swift says you should vote for Trump. I'm like, everybody knows that's not true, because we've seen her actually on video like saying quite the opposite.
Well,
and
and she made cookies for Biden
before she does. Huh?
She made cookies for Biden too.
That's right. She made cookies for Biden, and
all herself, I'm sure.
Yeah, right. So, but I think somebody like took those cookies that she had made and like turned them into some other thing where it was, man, this is like really, this old computer is not enjoying life. There's a reason why I don't use it anymore. Well, anyway.
Another thing that people really need that I want to kind of dive into, and then because I know, Chad, are you still trying to get that Klaus Schwab?
I was. I'm kind of not anymore. Is
okay.
Nico coming and going again?
I'm still here.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
What? I mean,
there's an extra Nico down here.
There is.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
I'll get rid of him.
Because
it's fine.
it's because I'm not on Safari, and I tried logging in on Safari, and I heard my voice, and I'm like, all right, bro, this is doing too much, and so I'm just
cool.
All right. Well, I'll just leave it there just in case, so that I don't break whatever is allowing you to be on here. Anyway, what were you going to say, Marcus?
I was just going to say that a lot of the information you shared right at the gate was a reason why this is not an important election, but we really need to look at elections in general.
Mm-hmm.
None of them, not one, from the beginning, not one is ethical. Not one. because they are seeking to force the opinion of the majority on the minority, regardless of what kind of majority you have to have or any of that crap. And that's just unethical. But so I disagree with any election whatsoever.
This is crazy.
But come on, guys. We have 2 dementia riddled people that they actually, and I don't want to hear this nonsense. Oh, well, but you can vote libertarian. They would ever let them anywhere near the throne.
I think it's a little sad that like we as a people haven't been like, I think this is the best way of living, statistically proven, and like it's very evident that like you leave people alone with some kind of structure, not like anarchy, like everywhere, not anarchy, since we are anarchists, but you know, like not a free for all, not like a free for all and everything's like on fire, but there's some kind of like regulated system. I'm fairly sure we've thought of that. It's just that everybody still wants to give their powers to people that gives them checks only if they are on benefits. Like the only checks that they get from their jobs, from them slaving away. It's a new form of slavery, which I think everybody is very evident of. Even if they go out and enjoy their lives on the weekends, then they like, fuck, it's Monday again. Everybody hates Monday. Most people hate Monday. I can't say everybody. Most people hate Mondays, and that's for probably one reason and one reason only. Going back to slavery. So...
And they've set out, you're right, because they've set up this system to where you aren't just like it used to be. You would, homestead, you would go, you would build your house, you would, raise your crops, you would do your stuff, and that's your property. There ain't nobody can touch it. You don't own shit anymore. They own it. They're going to charge you taxes, property taxes on your property. You don't own it. It's not yours. You can't do whatever the fuck you want with it. But that's the way it used to be. And when we were living in a society that I chose to work, like it used to be when you went to an employer, you said, I'd like to work 4 days a week, 10 hours, 10 hours a day, or 4 hours a day, whatever it was, whatever agreement you made with your employer. And then that would be the agreement you had. Even if it was, I'm going to work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, you made the goddamn agreement. That's you. And now we're paying, I think the statistics are a third of the year. So we're talking like 4 months.
Yeah, well, that's where Nozick's thing came. It's like 3/7 of your time you have to give back.
Right, exactly. And so to a degree, Nico, I think you're absolutely correct. The system has enabled, frankly, corporations to rise in power. And remember that corporation means incorporating the government into your business. So they're going to tell that employer that they have incorporated. You need to have your employees working 40 hours a week. You need to have them doing these things. This is how you're going to schedule. You're going to pay in this way. Because the government is jumping into private industry and dictating what it should be and how it should be.
How it should regulate and run its own business.
Right. Instead of the way that it is supposed to be in a free market, is that when you sign up to go work for Bill or Bob or whoever the hell you go work for, or Walmart or whoever you decide to go work for, you decide, I am going to work X days this week. That's my contract with you. And if they don't want to do that, they won't hire you. And if you don't want to do that, you won't take the job. But they've ruined that.
Well, if you can count on the stuff that we vote people in office for, because like they pay attention to us, but we have like minimum wage at like $15. Like, they're the people in the office that, we don't elect, but somehow get elected, and they're still elected, and we're about to elect somebody else who's just as bad, if not worse.
Yeah, and again, I don't agree with elections from the beginning to the end, but the way it used to work is that you would have 20 different presidential candidates to choose from, and you would look and see who, and maybe 3 of them are Republicans and 4 of them are Democrats, and you got a libertarian in there, and whatever it would be, and you would choose the person you think is the right person. And the way it was set up, the number 1 guy, that's your guy. Number 2 that gets number 2, he's the vice president. So they changed that too, and they whittled it down to where now you get to choose between 2 complete and total assholes, and they tell you don't, if you're a Democrat, they tell you, well, you got, and they look at Biden going, oh my God, this dude can't string a whole sentence together. What the fuck? And they go, yeah, but do you want Trump? Isn't he worse? And then Trump, who, remember the bump stocks? I certainly do. Remember the tax, I'm sorry, I confuse taxes and tariffs like most people do. The tariffs that he raised, yeah, those got into your pocket too, that Trump did. But you don't want Biden though, do you? Yeah. So they're using each other against each other. Whereas even if you did actually add 1/3 voice in there that had to have third opinion, it would be much harder for them to get that going. So that's why they have reduced it to 2. And this time, Trump did not. There was challengers both on the Democratic side and the Republican side. There should have been debates between all of them. We have not seen Trump on a debate stage. We have not seen Biden on a debate stage because they do not want you to have any more choices. So that means, again, this is the least important election. You are going to get screwed regardless of who gets in there.
Well, all right. So now that we've kind of gone down that rabbit hole, let me bring us back to what kind of kicked off the idea for this episode, and it was this Klaus Schwab appearance at the WEF where he's talking about in Davos, where he's talking about with artificial intelligence that you can just basically minority report elections. Well, look what the AP said that the headline is: World Economic Forum's chairman didn't call for AI to replace elections. I don't know about you, but that's what I heard.
That is definitely what I heard.
So it says, claim, a video shows Klaus Schwab, the founder and chairman of the World Economic Forum, calling for artificial intelligence to replace elections. AP's assessment, false. The video shows Schwab discussing a hypothetical future scenario, not endorsing it. Schwab, speaking with the Google co-founder Sergey Brin at the WEF's annual gathering AI in Davos, Switzerland in 2017, prefaced the scenario by saying that he has heard fear of how predictive technology could be used. He then asked Brin whether he could imagine a world in which elections were deemed unnecessary because the outcome can be predicted. The World Economic Forum and its annual meeting in the Swiss ski resort town are frequent targets of conspiracy theories and misinformation. So you see what they do. They just they immediately run cover for all this stuff.
It does look like there's a link to the video.
Yeah, I got it. I don't know. Is that the video or is
I am guessing it is. It's up a little bit.
Full footage of the conversation.
If you go
of the full conversation.
I think it's farther up, Chad. No, keep going. There you go. Up at the top where it says the video.
Okay.
Betcha that's it.
All right. Share this tab instead. Okay. Ooh, 30. Well, okay. It's going to jump to the spot in the video, I guess.
Yep.
Well, here we go. I can't hear it. Can you hear it?
Yes.
We are sitting here. We have an implant in our brains. And I can immediately feel, because you all will have implants, and we measure your brain waves, and I can immediately tell you how the people react, or I can feel how the people react to your answers. Is it imaginable?
Yeah.
I think that is imaginable. I think...
So he's kind of talking. He's kind of doing like an Elon Musk Neuralink
be sort of
combo.
I don't really know if this is the place that we were talking about
in a digital realm.
I think it is though.
you just in your biological incarnation.
So let's keep listening, because I think it is.
Very long age. I think it is almost impossible to predict. And in fact,
why don't you pause it for a second,
Chad? Technology might be inherently chaotic. I mean, it could have been.
Yeah.
So again, I what is nice about this is actually kind of in, like, so that it's in context, so that we can see that that's actually happening. So it's actually kind of good that that's going on. And Nico dropped out too.
Yeah.
So you want to bring that back up and?
Oh yeah, sure. Oh, let's go here. All right. Okay.
In the case,
so just to give some
a couple
context.
100 years back, if it so happened that electricity evolved a little bit faster compared to internal combustion, that we all would have been driving electric cars today, and then somebody would have a newfangled internal combustion thing that would be like, well, that's kind of weird. But history happened to go one way. Maybe there are fundamental inherent reasons for that.
So
I think
this is just him like
ask these kinds
going
of questions about
on
the
a
future. What does it mean
tangent.
to be human in the future? What does it mean to be an individual versus society? Kind of where are we going in the long term?
Let's see if when it gets to this little
deep and powerful and fundamental
chapter ending, humanization,
I don't know that we are
predictive power. Okay, that's where it is.
I think it's premature because we don't know yet how the technology
here it is
will look like. But one fear which I have heard is that technology now and digital technologies mainly have an analytical power. Now we go into a predictive power, and we have seen the first examples, and your company very much involved into it. But then the next step could be to go into a prescriptive mode, which means you do not even have to have elections anymore, because you can already predict, and afterwards you can say, why do we need elections? Because we know what the result will be. Can you imagine such a world?
Well, you might then further ask, well, why do we need to have elected leaders at all? Because you might as well have all the decisions made
by AI.
I think
that's the argument they're
you're
making.
venturing into, I think, profound questions. You can ask also, what
so I think we've made it to the end of that, Chad, don't you?
I mean, we have a set of values and desires
today,
that are.
Yeah, let me stop sharing. So I mean, I think there's Nico's back. All right, welcome back, Nico. Oh, all right, fine.
I think we both hit him at the same time.
Yeah, we did. It's,
okay, I'm moving. All right, cool.
But yeah, I think does it really matter what they were talking about? And as we get to this point, because this is something that they were talking about 6 years ago, but it comes back to the forefront when you have now we see these AI images being created, and we saw it last year where they had very early on in the Midjourney genesis, where these technologies are just being like unleashed on the public. ChatGPT, Midjourney, some of the other different Grok or whatever the hell Elon calls his thing on Twitter, and all these different things. You're just starting to see. It's kind of like when you go back and look at Toy Story, and you're just like, oh wow, like that's okay. Toy Story is cool, but like the animation is kind of antiquated now when you look at it comparatively. Go see Avatar: The Way of Water and look at that shit comparatively. And look at some of the stuff that they've done where they've like they did it with the Justice League, where they CGI'd
the man's
Henry
mustache off his
Cavill's
face.
right. They just did stuff, facial hair off of the dude.
Right.
He can't have facial hair. Oh wait, he needs facial hair. Oh well, let's take it off. There's all these things that they can do where it's to the point now where I don't know if by November of this year, if you're not going to be able to have a whole bunch of photorealistic stuff, and you look at like the Hunter Biden laptop, that was real. and they suppressed it. Well, they've shown that they can suppress or amplify whatever they want to suppress or amplify. And the idea that like the elections are elections is it goes beyond just like the machines and whether you believe all the crazy conspiracy theories that the election was stolen, which is obviously crazy because it wasn't. The election was fair and balanced and very ethically conducted.
It was very truthful.
And
no lies about it.
It was definitely like Biden definitely won, and that was it. Like that was definitely the outcome.
He's our true president.
The issue is before the election, can you trust your own eyes and what you're seeing, and the stories that are being portrayed to you and conveyed to you?
Be fun.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Elections aren't real anymore. I mean, ever since there was the possibility of them capping on my president, Joe Biden. He's not my president, but for conversation's sake, he's my president. With that showing, like, who's to say that they won't get hacked? How many times has the election got hacked? Who put Harambe put in it? Then they put what is it? They said D's nuts. Like the election's been hacked actually way too many times. Absolutely way too many times.
I'd say every time.
So like, who's to say your TV's actually going to get the right polling?
Right. I'm going to bring this up. This is one of our quotes, but this is actually talking about this exact thing. I'm going to bring the quote up to the screen and read it. Those who vote decide nothing. Those who count the vote decide everything. Joseph Stalin.
So again, I bring us back to the same thing I said at the top of the show when we brought up the Lysander Spooner quote. I mean, yes, to the extent that you would believe that elections matter, then yes, those who count the votes are more important than the people who cast the votes. And, to Spooner's point, you're no less a slave if you get to choose, a different master in a term of years. Yes, those things are true in the sense and to the extent that we're talking about just elections, right? Mm-hmm. What I'm talking about is the grander paradigm, which is ruled by something we do not elect anyway.
Correct.
And the election in that sense is like choosing who the anchor man is going to be when the news director is actually picking the lineup of the stories and writing the copy that the news anchor is reading.
Right.
We're choosing, do we want Dan Rather, Tom Brokaw, Walter Cronkite, whatever? It don't fucking matter because the station manager, the owner of the station, the advertisers, and the news director picks the stories, what order they're going to be in, how much time is allotted to each story, and what the copy that the anchor is going to read is. I've worked in television. I've seen this firsthand.
Yeah.
Like the producer, the news director, those are the people who make the calls on that stuff. The anchors can sit there and try. They can try, but I guarantee you this much. If they go against the grain too much, they might be able to get away with it one episode. Like what's the old TV show where the guy's like, he says, go out and it's like, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. What's that? You know what I'm talking about?
Grind my gears off Peter.
No, it's Newsroom or what's it? Network. I can't remember the name of the show, but it's an old movie. Oh yeah, it's a big thing, and it's like, but it's this exercise in futility where like you're supposed to believe that this guy has like created a revolution, like it's like V for Vendetta or something. But all he's done is he's convinced everyone that if you go outside your window and scream, "I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore," that now you solved something. And it's like, no, you just yelled to the nothing, and now nothing changed, but you feel better.
Good job.
And that's the same thing as voting. And that's why I have this shirt. I designed this shirt
You did.
Marcus made it into a shirt. It's apparently it's gonna try to
I
be
signed
like,
off on the shirt.
see through now. Yeah, Nico signed off on the shirt. I vetoed. Instead of putting an I voted pin on, I put that thing on network. Okay, yeah, so that's what it is. Jimmy Co says it's network. Yeah, so that's kind of what we're doing when we go out there and vote. Is we are and by the way, shout out to everybody, not just on YouTube, but our Rumblers as well. We appreciate y'all joining us there.
For sure.
Don't forget to like, to share, and to subscribe on all platforms. And make sure the biggest thing you can do is share the episodes with friends and family who you think might get.
What was our old saying? 2 shares to speed the spread.
2 shares to speed the spread. Oldie but goodie. I had forgotten about that one, but that's a good one. Yes,
for sure.
2 shares to speed the spread. Man, shout out to 2020. That was a different era, wasn't it?
For sure.
But no, like if you think about what we're doing, like so what I was saying is that guy, like he does that. Well, the next day when he tries to go into work, they change the codes and he can't get into the building anymore, and they've replaced him with a different anchor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like,
Yeah.
so you can't
They
get
don't
away
even
with
let
that
you know
shit
you're
for long.
fired.
Right. Well, because again, our
They're
media,
not the ones making the calling the shots on the news.
right?
They're
And
just the talking heads.
our media is controlled by the CIA.
Mhm.
It is outright propaganda, and you don't have to look very far to get it.
Mhm.
This past week, I started 2 Star Wars series. I tried Andor and I tried Ahsoka, and both of them have a fair amount of programming, but you can see the difference. First episode, the one that is obviously a lot more programming is Ahsoka. They put,
God dang it.
yeah, a bunch. Well, I mean, the first episode,
It
there are
looked like a
2.
good show.
It does, and I'm going to give it some more try because I can get over some programming. Because where the hell am I going to go to not get programming? But
Right.
but the first episode really has 2 main male characters: the robot who follows instructions from all of the women, and who by the way, the two heroes so far are a Asian woman and a black woman who are obviously going to be in a lesbian relationship. Just a little bit of programming there.
They love doing that. They love doing like those
sure.
kind of like
For sure. So the 2 men, one's a robot who does everything that the women tell him to, and the other one is a white guy who is the bad guy. he's the bad guy throughout the whole thing.
White people are always bad people. I'm sorry.
Well,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
right. No, but this is a white male who is obviously the bad guy.
Are they trying to double down on y'all being evil?
Oh, for sure. 100%.
Oh, damn.
Well, you got to remember though, and we're going to get a little off track, but the reason they're doing that, just all these people that are falling for it, the people that are in charge have not changed. They're still a bunch of white old guys. Sorry about you. That's the facts. And at the end of the day, what they're trying to provoke is a backlash from white men. So all of that crap that all these people are celebrating are going to get it in the ass eventually. Pause.
Well, but if you think about it though, like look at the way that they've done a lot of this stuff. When they were doing what they were doing to black people, and they still are on different levels. It was kind of this targeted, I don't know, call and response, I guess. No, but I mean, I'm saying like it was a let me poke you in the eye and then see how you respond and then crack down on the response kind of thing. And so now they're doing it to white people, and
particularly white
and
men.
it's just to get a white response. And so you see all these people just, oh, they're attacking white men. Like I'm like, whatever, they do shit all the time. They fuck with people all the time. Like, I'm not going to sit out there and cry about like,
correct.
Oh, look what they're doing. This is unfair to white men. White men are being oppressed. Like, no, the fuck we're not. Like, get the fuck out of here, man.
I'm not, to be clear, I'm not saying that. I'm saying they programmed the white guy's the bad guy. Whereas in
Oh, right.
Andor, there's
Yeah,
less of that.
I wasn't saying you were saying that, but
Yeah.
I'm saying like that's part of what they're trying to elicit is that
Sure.
that response is
Uh-huh.
is let's get the white men all pissed off and let's see
Right.
if we can have another January 6th or whatever, you know, and then you get to further because it's the same shit that they like. All you have to do is look at the playbook of what they've done. What has COINTELPRO done all along?
Right.
They
Right.
incite shit and then they capitalize on what shit stirs up. And then they use that as a way to like weaponize and
Yeah,
grow
then
their power.
they enforce their methods and ideas via that way.
Right.
Mhm.
And there we can see this in our current situation with the election. They gave us Joe Biden, right?
Mhm.
Who is absolutely a buffoon and absolutely has destroyed the economy and absolutely is seen by absolutely everyone, including people that are going to vote for him, that he is completely unfit to lead a dog catching group, much less
Man,
a
chill
government.
out, bro. Like Joe Biden's amazing. What are you talking about?
Right.
But
Marcus,
what
why are you trying to get our show canceled? This
For
is
reals.
you're talking about the second
Our
hand
fearless leader.
down from the Messiah. Okay,
right,
he
right.
he
So-
is the one sent to deliver.
For sure. So let me go on and attack the other guy then. As if because like I said, they gave us Joe Biden so that we would run back into the arms of Trump.
Mm.
I want to ask the Republicans, who does it help that the border is in the news right now?
Mm.
And do you really think that they're suddenly reporting correctly about it?
Yeah.
Use your damn brain. That this has
I don't
all
wanna.
been bullshit to begin with. They are hurting you to Trump because that's the guy that they think they'll
No,
be
he's
able to
gonna
control
plummet
you
this
better
place
with.
further into darkness. He's gonna
Yes.
plummet this place further into darkness, and that's what they want to use him as the Molotov cocktail, as the Civil War bringer. They want to be like, oh yeah, we gave you a Democrat. Here's a your Republican back, and then all those all the people who have certain entitled opinions who've never gotten out their box is gonna feel some type of way, and then we're gonna see the pushback and the shove and the pushback, so that they're trying their domestic shit so they can do what they do.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%. Watch. Mark my words. When, and I mean when Trump is selected, because he's been selected as the next president, one of his first actions, I'd say within the first 6 months, will be to enact some kind of gun control. There will be an emergency that he has to react to, and you're going to see them clamp down on guns. I'm willing to bet on it. First 6 months of Trump being in office. And he's going to say, I had to do it, guys. I had to. because people were
because
dead.
they don't want to. They don't want people having guns when they try and really enroll CBDC in.
Yep.
They're gonna be like, oh, they have a way to fight back. Guys, you wanna try and reduce their bullet count over there, please? Like,
well, I would even say, like, I mean, so I don't know. Like, maybe I'm evolving on the thing around guns. I mean, it's not to say that I don't still have a way to protect my family and everything, but I do think that, you know, as I watch throughout history, what the powers and principalities that really rule this world of darkness, what they want is for us to be shooting each other and killing each other and hurting each other. And so I think that maybe more devastating than a crackdown on guns would be to actually have some real shit go down. That would end up in some bloodshed where innocent people are
unnecessarily hurt.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be step 2. I think that they want to get as many guns out of the hands of people that are responsible gun owners.
They just showed us what they're going to do with the movie that came out. The Obamas directed. Like,
oh yeah,
the Obamas just told you everything.
Leave the world behind. Yeah.
They just told you everything was going to happen.
All right, so I want to bring this up because earlier today I saw, and because we're talking about like how the people's minds are just manipulated with this stuff, and it's like you'll hear the same thing that Cooley Bravo was dealing with today on the timeline with people defending Biden and Obama and everything else. The Republican side will defend Bush and they'll defend Trump and everything. I just got to bring this up because I went ahead and shared this because there were some people who were like, I don't know, apparently just like willing to overlook all of the things that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are all about. And so I had to revive my old video from 3.5 years ago. And so here it is.
Oh, I remember this one. I remember this.
So are y'all ready? Here we go. You're ready.
Probably the most important election in our lifetime.
I'm prepared to say that I have a record of over 40 years and that I'm going to beat Joe Biden. Look at my record.
Unless we do something about that cadre of young people, tens of thousands of them, born out of wedlock, without parents, without supervision, without any structure, without any conscience.
I do not believe you are a racist.
Come on, man.
Every major crime bill since 1976.
Look at that pop.
Has come out of this Congress.
Boom. Prison.
Every minor crime bill has had the name of the Democratic senator from the state of Delaware, Joe Biden.
Let me pause this real quick. Oh, shoot. It was a little bit late. All right. So just so that people can see what this, because you can't see it, it says this is black people use less drugs than white people. It's like half. This is like on a per capita basis, 5.8% to 10.5%. But then look at the arrest rate.
Yeah.
Or it's not arrest. But it's stop and search.
Yeah, that's
which ultimately is going to lead to arrests, right?
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
he called me a nigga.
Do you think?
Yeah, you think?
I think he called me a nigga.
Dude, did you hear what he said back? That was like back in the 90s. That was when the crime bill was being put out. He's like just talking about this cadre of people with no morals, having children out of wedlock, and it's like, damn.
I know what he was aiming for. He wanted to use it, but he realized that he wasn't in the group chat with the homies. And so he was like,
wait, it gets better. Hang on. Here we go.
Biden on that bill.
So then we have, this is the likelihood of imprisonment of U.S. residents born in 2001. All men, 1 in 9. White men, 1 in 17. Black men, 1 in 3. Latino men, 1 in 6. And then like, look at women. Women is like, but it's still like, if you're black, you're getting black or Hispanic, you're getting thrown in jail way more often.
And anyway, has had a majority vote of the Democratic members of the United States Senate on the bill.
I am 1,000% supportive of Joe Biden.
She brought all the kids into the living room, held up the letter, said, if you don't go to school, Kamala's going to put you and me in jail.
Come on, man.
You hear how excited and happy she was to talk about throwing people in jail for truancy?
For sure.
Damn.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to throw little kids and their mamas in jail.
Right.
And poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
I mean, you got the first sort of mainstream.
He's talking about Obama right here.
Yeah. Who is articulate and bright and clean and a nice-looking guy.
He says he wants to talk white. That's what he would say.
I do not believe you are a racist.
I do.
And with I don't know.
Go, you know the thing. I got hairy legs that turn turn blonde in the sun, and the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down, so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap, and I've loved kids jumping.
He called me a nigga for sure this time.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude.
Come on, man.
Joe Biden is a
I've
rabid
seen this a
dog.
bunch
He
of
should
times,
be beaten to
but
death
man.
with a stick.
I'm going to beat Joe Biden.
We can only re-elect Donald Trump.
And I will, again, do everything I can to make sure he is elected.
And you ain't black.
It was a debate.
Oh, I forgot about that.
That's one of my favorite pieces of work ever.
For sure. It's good.
I really enjoyed making that one.
You ain't black.
So,
Come on, man.
So you can vote for him, or you can vote for the guy that is going to take your guns away.
That
'cause they already
apparently,
have.
yeah.
Or you could just not vote, keep it pushing, and take care of your family, and I don't know, go
Go kayaking.
matters.
help your kid learn how to
Yeah.
box out on free throws so that he doesn't
You
get
feel me? Or like teach him how to hack like an AI software so you guys won't be ruled by robots, or like show your kid how to mow the lawn, or like shovel some snow.
how to build
somebody
something.
gets some. You feel me?
Be
Like,
productive.
or just do something other than traumatize yourselves with stuff that we technically have no power over until you get your shit in order.
Yeah. At the bottom line again, how is this the most important election of our lifetime?
Bro, because do you know how bad it's going to be if either Biden or Trump gets elected?
Right. Terrible. Terrible. And you know what we're going to do to stop it?
Nothing.
Because you can't. But the only thing that we can do is keep showing people that they don't need this shit. That
I mean, we could get a coalition of people with a whole bunch of guns and like threaten a lot of people and be like, "Leave on this guy." I mean, but I mean, like that's the point. Like, there's no reason for it. I mean, because we're always threatened already with, if you don't go to work, you'll starve or dead, or like you either wind up in the government's care or within the government's care. So
for sure.
Yeah, I have no interest in becoming the monster I'm trying to
exactly
warn people against or defeat. So that's a no for me. But
at the end of the day, where we're headed and where they've pointed us, and when I say they, I'm saying everyone, every single one of the people in Washington, D.C. that work for the government, whether that's congressmen, the bureaucracy, the Supreme Court, a clerk, whatever the hell they are, the president, all of those people. What they're aiming at is Murray Rothbard in A New Liberty covers this pretty well. He talks about that all of those people, whether they call themselves progressives or they call themselves liberals or they call themselves conservatives, they're all conservative. And what they're trying to conserve is the old world order. I think the new world order is a misnomer. They are trying to, and Rothbard as well went into this in that book as well, but they're trying to get back to when there was an aristocrat, when there were aristocrats and the poor didn't have any choice. And there was only two kinds of people. And those people are the aristocrats and the peasants. And just like Carlin said, it's a club and you ain't in it. So that's what they're trying to get back to. Modern day, what we call that is socialism. That's what they're trying to do. And I'm talking about Trump because most of his policies were socialist. So all of these ideas are just pushing us farther and farther towards, regardless, every one of them. And this goes for Thomas Massey, who, if I have a favorite, he's certainly my favorite.
Yeah.
Because anytime you use the government as a solution, you are moving towards socialism. And so that's where we're at. That's what they're doing. And Chad's right. We have better fucking things to do. I got a family to take care of, and I'm going to do every single thing in my power. This is the part of me that's an agorist. I'm going to do everything in my power to make them irrelevant, to make it to where I don't need them. And what people will be like, well, but they can still come get you. Yes. And I'm going to make it really, really hard.
Yeah, but I really think where we are, and so I want to bring this up because it one of the things that's been kind of bantied about in the Bitcoin Mystery School chat is the discussion of like where we're headed, which is more like a techno-feudalism. There's a guy, his name is Yanis Varoufakis. I can't remember if he's Swedish or what, but anyway, he talks about this a lot. Now he's more of what I would say is like kind of a coming at it from the left perspective,
Sure.
but still from a leftist kind of anarchist perspective, or a recognize, like he sees that there's a problem, sort of similar to I think where like Scott Creighton would be.
Sure.
Sees the problem, maybe identifies the source of the problem a little differently from where some people might or whatever. But what he's talking about, and what Cyprian Vinarmani was describing as well, is that where this is headed is that even the governments themselves and all of these policymakers and everything, a lot of that is just like kabuki theater, hand waving, saber rattling. That is a lot of sound and fury signifying nothing, because what's really going to rule over people is the technology.
Agreed.
And the tech companies, and the ability of them to just basically make it to where like you just don't get to have the things that you like. Because shout out to Daryl, who reached out again. Hadn't heard from Daryl in a while.
Tell him I said hi if you hear from him.
Yeah, for sure, we'll do. But he was pointing out there's this new app called Nostr, Nostr, and it's like, and the way he described it, I love Daryl and I appreciate where he's going, but let me just make this point. So he's talking about how it's like the new social media, or the new Twitter, but decentralized, like what it's supposed to be, whatever, that sort of thing. What I would argue is that part of what makes Twitter what it is the fact that like everybody's there.
Right.
And I've done like Gab, and I've done some of these other things, and it's like, I mean, I can go in our little Anarch Telegram chat, and I can have the same conversations with people who I know who are good, and I'll still have the same amount of engagement in our Anarch chat that I will on one of those. I can go on Gab and I can post something on there, and it will be like talking into the toilet. Like I no one's going to respond. No, there's no like real movement or engagement over there. I go post something on Twitter, and if it hits, it hits, and it's just like wow. And then you get to have like a real lively conversation about something, because there's a lot of eyeballs and voices kind of coming to that conversation. And I'm not saying we need to be chasing after that, because I think a lot of that stuff can sometimes appeal to some of our lesser nature, our vanity and pride and things like that. But I'm just saying that in the sense of like having something that pretends to be Twitter, but is like just like an empty shell of what Twitter would be, but it's decentralized, is not really like productive. Because we did the same thing, right, Marcus, with MeWe and Minds and all this stuff. And it's like
and all the
awesome. Like we might have like one person or two people
that have a really good idea
who ever even like engage with us from those platforms, and so like it's cool, it's cute and adorable, but it's also like not the same. You can't even say it's anywhere in the realm of what Twitter is.
Yeah,
and that's billions of users, and it's just a whole different arena.
Yeah, and they want us in those gulags. Yeah. They want us only talking to us. Mm-hmm, the entire reason, and I mean the entire reason I am at all on Twitter, or at all on Rumble, or at all on YouTube, is because I'm trying to get to people that have not heard of these ideas before, and try to help them to see what we see. And I'm not saying we're right. I want them to see, and I want them to question.
Yeah.
And people that already agree with me, they don't help me none. Other than sharing.
That's true. No, if you can get across their dashboard, a glimpse, it's not going to get right then and there, but it'll be in the back, and then all of a sudden it just clicks. It's like that one rap verse or song lyric you hear, and you just like think about it, and then 3 years later you're like, oh, that's what he meant. So so I mean, as long as you give them a little taste of something that they're going to appreciate later. That's all that matters.
It's like the 25th time I watched The Holy Grail, and I was like, oh, shit, that joke. I didn't even hear that joke before. I was laughing through that joke before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
In the conversation that Hotep Jesus had with Shaka Atmos, one of the ones that he had with him, Shaka had said something that I thought was really enlightened. He was talking about coming to Hotep, and he basically said, you know, he was raised Hotep, but when he was a teenager, he didn't want nothing to do with it. He was like, I'm running away from all that stuff and doing his thing. And he said, but they had planted a seed of Hotep in him. And when the worldly bullshit that wasn't going on, that was going on, the worldly stuff didn't work for him, that seed began to take root.
Started to grow, yeah.
So I think that he's really on to something with that. And I think Nico just touched on it too, that's what we're trying to do, is sow seeds. I told somebody today at work, we were in a conversation, and this is somebody who is a leftist who's probably beginning to lean libertarian. I said, I'm not trying to make you an anarchist. I don't care if you're anarchist. I don't care. What you call yourself doesn't matter to me. I said, what I'm trying to do is make you think. I said, start thinking this out for yourself, figure it out, and make the connections instead of just accepting what has been handed to you.
Facts.
Yeah. And that's where, like, so back to that techno-feudalism thing, and like where the tech companies and trying to like funnel you into these things, like if they can make it to where you either don't get to talk to anybody or you don't get to have, like, it's, I mean, imagine like all the people who like live for, I mean, look, I dig Twitter, I mess with it and everything, but if you notice, like over the last year and a half, I have become a lot less active there. I hardly ever tweet. When I do, it's a handful of things. I'm actually trying to avoid getting into some of the, because it used to be fun to like dunk on people and like ridicule people and like get jokes off at people's expense.
It's all pointless.
It's not just pointless. Like it's bad. It's not good. Like it's bad for my soul. Like I don't want to be the kind of person who puts that kind of stuff out into, because I don't know these people.
Right.
And I don't know. I kind of feel like it's where I am. What I'm supposed to be doing is I need to put what I think someone who is seeking Christ should be putting out there. And if I'm not doing that, then I'm probably putting a stumbling block in my own way. And I'm definitely putting a stumbling block in other people's ways. And I don't want to do that. So I haven't engaged with it that much. So in a way, if it went away, if this went away, YouTube went away, and all this stuff, you know, if it all went away, I'd just be like, you know what?
I miss Chad. I miss Nico. Would be all I would be like.
Yeah, well, I mean, I still got your numbers. Like, I can still call you. We can still talk. You know, so that's kind of where some of this stuff is starting to land. And I think that's probably more the answer than anything else, is make sure you cherish those connections that you have in the incarnational world, in the real, tangible, physical world, where you get to be face to face, or even if it's over the phone, with real human beings, because all this other stuff is the kind of thing that feeds your I don't know, that dopamine rush that you get from getting notifications and getting that engagement, or like, oh my gosh, Scott Adams retweeted me or whatever. I mean, I used to get excited about that kind of stuff too. I was like really, really excited when I started like doing stuff with Hotep's Been Told You and everything. Cause it was like, I went from fanboy to like, I was like a contributor. I was cutting up clips and doing all that stuff. And it was, from a prideful standpoint, it was fulfilling in that regard. But now I'm looking at it from a different perspective, and I see people who I want to build things with and I want to do stuff with, but I'm not like, I don't care if nobody else in the world knows who I am.
Same.
I care if the people who I love and care about know that I love them and care about them, and that I'm not falling short in fulfilling that role of being someone who loves and cares for them. And when we get caught up in so much of that other stuff, it's really easy. That's the thing that I think is the biggest problem for me with AI. It's not so much that I'm worried about Terminator type shit. Like that's what people think. They're like, I hear people talk about like people like me who are like, I'm staying away from that stuff. I'm not putting anything in a prompt. I'm not going on ChatGPT. I'm not getting it to help me write shit or anything like that. It's not because I'm scared that Terminator is going to come kill me or anything like that. I like bring it on. Like, you want to kill me, kill me. Like, I will die for Christ. I don't care. Like, I would prefer it that way. What I'm more concerned about with that stuff is just like with the phone or with Twitter or anything else, is you become a slave to this shit. And the slave that we were talking about is not just coming from the government. Yep. It's also like we enslave ourselves with how these things kind of rule over our lives and take so much of our time and so much of our energy and just suck the life out of us because we feel like we're getting something from it. But it's just like any addiction. There's a diminishing return. And so then you have to go deeper and deeper and deeper, and it has to become more and more intense. Otherwise you don't get the high that you used to get anymore. That's what I'm afraid of more than anything else, is getting sucked into a rabbit hole that I can't pull myself out of.
Yeah.
Not that I'm worried that AI is going to like take my job or come kill me or anything like that. I don't like whatever, bro. I don't care about that shit.
Well, and for one, that's probably not right around the corner, and at the end of the day. But I have a similar take to what you have, Chad. For me, I really have ingested and truly have ingested that the what I should be talking about is peace, love, and freedom. And so when I'm talking with someone, whether it's in person or on or on social media or whatever, I ask myself while I'm speaking with them, am I being a good steward of peace, love, and freedom? Is what I am talking about, and I fail all the time. An example, we were talking about Nico's friend who was a communist. I failed with him. I did not approach him as
not from last week, Nico. The other one.
No. I know exactly. I know exactly who he's talking about.
Right, but I did not.
Like an acquaintance.
Yeah. Either way, I did not. I did not approach him.
You don't have to disavow him, Nico. It's okay.
Yeah. Wait, I didn't come to him with peace, love, and freedom. I didn't. I may have come with a bit of freedom, but not peace and love.
Yeah.
I came with anger, and I came with
pushback,
and
like this is like you came back with like an authoritative, like,
correct.
I know what the hell I'm talking about. Here, take these Carfax, and you're trying to like force them, and it's like me no speak English, and it's like, here you go, and it's like, I don't know what you want.
Right.
Me no speak English.
Right. Yeah. But seriously, I fail. But that doesn't mean I don't try. To Chad's point about Christ, we can all try to be Christ-like. There's been only one Christ. You can try all day damn long.
Yeah.
You are not going to be Christ.
Yeah, I'm more trying to seek him and find him. That's
sure.
Attain
But you get
Christ-like conscious state.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah. At the end of the day, that's like trying to achieve perfection. You're never going to do it.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's why I changed my Twitter handle to asymptotic man, because I'm like this. I'm approaching, I think, but I'm never gonna get there. It's I'm just
facts.
The asymptote is just out of the reach.
Yep.
And that's all we can do. We just keep trying to grow, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
So, all right. Well, before Nico's phone dies, y'all have any closing comments? So we can
dang, bro, putting my shit on blast. Okay. Well, I mean, everybody get ready. This election is will change your life. Like this, it's gonna be so mad. Don't forget your voting cards.
It's gonna change your life from Tuesday to Wednesday.
Exactly.
Right. Be careful, an old white dude might be in charge.
You feel me?
Hey, look, man, they had a half black dude one time.
No, they did have, and he was an asshole.
Wait, it's crazy though. How's the half black dude related to the white guy that was previously like elected?
Because it's all a club and you ain't in it.
That's so crazy. Look at the ears, everybody. That's all I'm gonna say. Allegedly.
I got that picture. I got that picture on my phone. I'll pull it up, post it on the timeline. Oh man.
Well, guys, this has been fun. This has been one for the record books. And for those of you that don't follow us regularly, try. We have different subject. Right. We have different,
follow us regularly.
Right, follow us. Yeah, that's right. We have different. What I enjoy about our show is that try. Is that last week we talked about magic. This week we're talking about elections. A couple weeks ago we were talking about Jesus. You name it, we're going to talk about topics.
Except for sports. We're not doing sports.
We're not.
No, we are.
Chad
We're
will
going to do a
talk
Super Bowl special in 2 weeks.
That's right. We're doing a Super Bowl. So we're going to talk
only
about
the
sports.
Super Bowl, everybody. Only the Super Bowl. We don't attain to all those other Masonic plays that they put in front of you. Okay.
Right on. All right. Well, again, guys, this has been great, and we all know what to do.
Stay black. I mean,
Please.